Breaking news, Donald Trump is using Jeffrey Epstein's old jet to fly to campaign events. Is Elon Musk going to ask him about this during their interview tonight? I absolutely doubt it, because the Republican Party, they are the ones that have been levying insane, wild accusations against us for a while now, calling us groomers, or Marjorie Taylor Greene has said that we are the party of pedophiles, yet we have another perfect example of Donald Trump himself, the leader of the party, flirting with an actual pedophile, not just an actual pedophile, the king of pedophiles, Jeffrey Epstein. As Ted Lieu points out in this tweet, Trump is all over the Epstein files. Photos of Trump with Jeffrey Epstein. A video of Trump at the Epstein party. You guys can picture that video in your head right now. Multiple flight logs of Trump on Epstein's plane. Lawsuit alleging misconduct by Trump and Epstein. And remember Katie Johnson back in 2016. Weird statements by Trump about Epstein. And now this. Harris in Walt's War Room tweeted out, is anyone going to ask Donald Trump why he was flying on Jeffrey Epstein's plane on Saturday? And let's break this down and confirm everything. The N550GP tail number had a previous registration under N212JE. Note the serial numbers are still the same with the two flights. This old one belonged to Jeffrey Epstein. This article reads, Donald Trump has been traveling to campaign events on a jet that was previously owned by convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. The former president's usual mode of transport, a Boeing 757 jet nicknamed Trump Force One, was temporarily grounded on Friday following what was described by the Secret Service as a mechanical issue that forced him to land in Billings, Montana. After appearing at a campaign event in Bozeman, Montana, Trump chartered a smaller Gulfstream that was once owned by Jeffrey Epstein, the disgraced financier who was found dead in his New York prison cell in 2019 while awaiting trial for sex trafficking. Can I point out that this is a long-standing pattern of Donald Trump surrounding himself with people that are just absolutely disgusting. Let's take his old pastor at the White House, for example. He admitted that he sexually assaulted a 12-year-old girl. People like Matt Gaetz have sent Venmo payments to a 17-year-old girl. I mean, we can go down the list. Even Rudy Giuliani in the second Borat movie was reaching down his pants when he was in a room with a 15-year-old girl. That isn't even the tip of the iceberg. If we sat here and talked about all of the Trump allies that have been caught doing what they accuse other people of doing, we wouldn't be able to do it in one video. Donald Trump used that 16-passenger jet to fly from Montana to private fundraisers in Jackson, Wyoming and Aspen, Colorado. And I want to remind you guys what happened when Donald Trump was asked about Jeffrey Epstein during an interview. Pay close attention because Donald Trump is asked about a bunch of events like 9/11 and he gives somewhat normal answers, and then when he's asked about Jeffrey Epstein, he gives a really weird answer.
Would you declassify the 9/11 files?
Yeah.
Would you declassify JFK files?
Yeah.
Would you,
I did a lot of it.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you know, you don't know it. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there, because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world. But I think I would, or at least
Do you think that would restore trust? Help restore trust?
Yeah, I don't know about Epstein.
It's insane to me because Donald Trump and the MAGA people, the MAGA supporters beneath him, are the most conspiratorial people in America, right? No matter what's happening, they are drawing connections, trying to connect dots. But when we have these sealed files with names about people who could potentially be doing terrible things to children, all of a sudden Donald Trump and his MAGA supporters lose all of their conspiratorial instincts, and they go, oh, I'm sure like there's a lot of phony stuff in there. It doesn't really matter. Back to the article, flight records for the jet matched Trump's campaign schedule for Friday and Saturday when the events took place. Pictures showed the Gulfstream G550, which is now owned and operated by Threshold Aviation Group, landing in Aspen, decorated with the Trump 2024 campaign logo and an American flag. Threshold Aviation Group did not respond to a request for comment. Aircraft registration records show the Gulfstream jet's serial number matches one registered to the same size and model of jet previously registered to Epstein's company Plan D LLC, but with an amended tail number. A spokesperson for the FAA told The Independent, quote, the serial number remains the same because it's a unique identifier the manufacturer issues and it stays with the aircraft throughout its life. I repeat, it stays with the aircraft throughout its life, confirming that this aircraft did belong to Jeffrey Epstein, and it's the same one that Donald Trump has been spotted in repeatedly. And I want to say, this is following a repeated pattern of Donald Trump having close connections to Jeffrey Epstein. Epstein. I mean, this photo, I'm sure you guys have all seen it before, but it is one of the key pieces of evidence that Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein had a very close relationship. Donald Trump can be seen on the Jeffrey Epstein flight logs. Donald Trump partied with Jeffrey Epstein and even had a lawsuit brought against him and Jeffrey Epstein for sexually assaulting a young girl. The Gulfstream jet was the last jet Epstein ever flew on. He was arrested on federal sex trafficking charges when he landed at a Teterboro airport in New Jersey on a flight from Paris in 2019. He died by suicide while in a New York prison awaiting trial on the charges and has been connected to several high-profile people throughout his life, including Trump. The news of Trump's chartering Epstein's former jet was first reported by the Air Current, an aviation industry publication, and highlighted by supporters of the Democratic presidential candidate Kamala Harris. Customs records linked to the jet show that Epstein used it primarily to fly between Teterboro Airport in New Jersey, the U.S. Virgin Islands, where he owned a private island, and Palm Beach. Trump and Epstein were friends for 2 decades, dating to the late 1980s. They occasionally flew together from LaGuardia to Palm Beach, Florida. I want to highlight what it says up here. This is the flight that Jeffrey Epstein used to fly to his private island, and now Donald Trump is just casually using it. It's honestly kind of disgusting. To cleanse your palate a little bit, I want you to watch this clip of Senator Michael Bennet boasting about all of VP Harris's legislative accomplishments. It's a beautiful video. Take a look.
They're idiotic. Even if you accept his explanation for them, they're idiotic, but any American can listen to what he said and know what he means and why he's saying it. And with respect to the child tax credit, Kamala Harris was one of the very first people to endorse that credit and to work for that credit that cut childhood poverty in half. Cory Booker, Kamala Harris, Sherrod Brown, and I were the people that developed that. Joe Biden is the one, with Kamala Harris as his vice president, who cut childhood poverty in half and allowed America to see for the first time that we don't have to accept our incredibly high level of childhood poverty as a permanent feature of our democracy or a permanent feature of our economy. J.D. Vance has been nowhere on that. In fact, the only thing he's for is Donald Trump's tax cuts, extending Donald's tax cuts for rich people. He went home to Mar-a-Lago to say you're welcome to the people whose taxes he had cut. We're sitting there in their tuxedos. 65% of the benefit of that tax cut goes to the top 5% of Americans, whereas...
Just an amazing run right there, perfectly describing how VP Harris and Tim Walz actually care. They fight for the working class in America. Meanwhile, Donald Trump and J.D. Vance only pretend to. They have this facade of caring for people when they don't care. They're only trying to further their own careers through opportunism. J.D. Vance is a perfect example of that. I honestly think there could be another reality where J.D. Vance back in 2015, if he kept down that road, he could probably have been a politician that wants to help people in Ohio, but he has totally sold out his soul to the MAGA movement. Someone who is maybe somewhat intelligent back in the day, who said he was a never-Trumper, who wrote a best-selling book, is now a complete sellout opportunist, and he's doing it on the national stage where everybody can see who he is. If you enjoyed this video, all that I ask is that you leave a like, comment a blue heart, hit that subscribe button. Most importantly, have a great day, and peace out.